Well, it's just his background. I mean, he's he's been exposed to a lot, coming up in that system and family, if you will, with Coach Leach, all the way back to Coach Leach. He's been around some great coaches, but he's got the Texas Tech background, and but his first job, he went and was coaching running backs in like a wishbone offense at some D3 school in Chicago or something, somewhere. And so he's just a guy that's passionate about it. He's worked really hard, and he's been exposed to this system for a long time. But what has happened with Garrett and Lincoln is they kind of took the passing game of this air raid and some of the principles that have come with that, but they really have, figured out along the way that, hey, you got to run the ball. I mean, if you really, I mean, I would have never hired just a true air raid person, because in my background, I mean, we've got to run the football. I've always believed that, and you got to stop the run. So what Lincoln and Garrett is, they figured out, because if you really watch them, they can run the ball, and there's a lot of play action. There's a lot of, this zone, it's gap schemes, and there's a lot of explosives that come through them being able to run the ball, built around the basic principles of the air raid passing game. So, we've kind of coined it the dirt raid, if you will. And so that was the biggest thing for me. I mean, because if there's a lot of true air raid guys around there out in the world that they don't run the ball. I mean, they can be drop 8 and they're not running the ball. And eventually that will catch up with you if you want to win at the highest level. And so that was important to me. But just what he's been exposed to, certainly the influence of his brother Lincoln, who's grown, what he's been exposed to from all the coaches that he's been around. And he's been at some good spots, man. I mean, he as you mentioned, he was at East Carolina with Lincoln for a little bit. And then he's been to App State. He's been to Kansas. He's had an opportunity and then he gets exposed to Sonny Dykes and kind of gets back to his roots there and did a great job in getting. He got an opportunity at a young age to be the coordinator at SMU, and really did a good job. And then boom, he came right in. But he's 33, but he's wise beyond his years. He's got a lot of confidence, and that was the biggest thing that I felt like we needed, was just kind of a reinfusion of some confidence. It's ball is ball, but just that belief and that confidence kind of being reinstilled, and maybe just simplify a few things. There's a few procedural differences, maybe a few little systematic changes here or there with the passing game, but it's been really good. The guys have loved it, and man, he's got a bright future. There's no doubt about it. He'll be here, hopefully a couple years, but he'll be a head coach soon for sure.